So AI has put its foot in in all aspects of the world, like in food technology, in biotechnology, medicine. And all those.
Mention
So
it.
If the question is how is AI affecting the quality engineering space? First of all, how is AI affecting how software is being built right now? Because how software is being built directly affects how software is being tested. So if AI is going to change how software is going to be built, then AI is definitely affecting how
It's being tested.
Yeah. So artificial intelligence is also not supposed to be replacing human beings. Someone said AI is only going to replace the people who do not use AI. But AI is going to scale the capabilities of the people who are using artificial intelligence.
Hi guys, welcome yet again to our channel. This is Global Tech Sailors and we will be your hosts for today. To my direct opposite, I will let her introduce herself and then I will introduce myself.
Hi everyone, amazing, but most people call me Diana.
What? Okay, my name is Mwikali, a host. Mnasemanga a quarter. Okay, sawa. And today we've been joined by a very
bubbly,
gorgeous,
confident,
I can use adjectives mnajua. We've been joined by a very beautiful co-host. What? We've been joined by a very beautiful guest. Co-host.
Yeah.
Okay. Guest. I will let her introduce herself and a bit of what she does before we get to our icebreaker. So karibu sana.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I introduce myself.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Adera Karume.
Mm-hmm.
Or Catherine. Catherine is my name in between. So most people call me Kate.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I am a software engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right now, I am a quality assurance engineer somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
We shall not mention.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I think that's about it.
That's about it.
What's your favorite thing when you're not working?
When I'm not working, well, I don't have too many hobbies. I stay home a lot.
I understand. Hobbies are expensive.
Extremely. Hobbies are expensive. I like traveling, but I don't have travel money.
Same.
Yet.
That's why we are working.
Yet. But I stay home a lot. So I am always watching something on TV or
reading books.
I read a lot of books. Yeah, I read. Yeah, so I enjoy reading books. I enjoy a little bit of planting, gardening.
Okay.
Yeah, just to have. I like having green spaces, so I like taking care of plants. And yeah, that's about it.
You found a friend in her.
Yeah.
Okay.
We share hobbies.
Okay. Very nice. So for our icebreaker, we're just having a few tech riddles that people are going to be answering. So one, let us see. I connect you to worlds unseen. Without me, where would you have been? I connect you to worlds unseen.
Internet.
Correct. Internet.
Wow.
Can also be Wi-Fi. Because Wi-Fi connects you to all other areas that you're not able to see. Okay, so I store your moments, both big and small, in bytes and bits. I remember them all.
RAM. It could be a RAM.
Hard drive.
Yeah.
Hard drive.
Very correct. What was solved? Through my window, you can travel far, yet physically, you stay where you are. Through my window.
Computer.
Correct. One last one. So, wait it. Nice. Here, I click and clack without a voice, letters and numbers. I give you the choice.
Keyboard.
Correct.
Period.
Okay, so that has been our tech trivia for today. A very short icebreaker to spice up the episode before we begin. And we are going to get started right away to the episode. Maybe we'd like to understand a bit of what Kate does, get a background on how to maybe get into the role, see how maybe you can shape yourself into the role as well, and what the future holds for what you mentioned. So as Kate, earlier when you were introducing yourself, you talked about you are a software engineer and you're currently a QA tester, right? Is it a QA tester?
Engineer.
QA engineer. I'm a quality assurance engineer.
Yeah, a quality and assurance engineer. So maybe you can tell us a bit of what that entails, and you can even paint for us a day in the life of a QA engineer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So quality assurance is basically, I don't want to say that quality assurance is basically assuring quality. Although that's that's exactly what it is. I mean, I also thought very early that quality assurance engineer is about testing.
Mm-hmm.
It's bigger than that. It's not just you getting an end product and testing whether it works or not and giving feedback.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit more than that. So quality assurance engineer is basically making sure that in every aspect of the software development lifecycle, quality attributes are considered. So like from the design stage to the development stage to the testing stage now. So testing is just one of the stages of the software development lifecycle that quality should be present in. Yeah, all the way to deployment, post-production. There's a lot of quality engineering activities that go on.
Mm-hmm.
So a day in the life, I never thought... as an engineer, you do a lot more meetings than people anticipate. As a fundi, you shouldn't be.
Hey, you're a fundi.
Yeah.
Typically,
as a fundi,
we are all
meetings,
fundis.
Yeah, we are all fundis. Mm-hmm. So a day in the life involves a lot of meetings. Also, working in an agile space requires
the back and forth.
The back and forth and like the feedback loop and all that.
Yeah.
So a day in the life, basically, it looks very different every day for me, to be honest. It depends on where we are at in a project. So sometimes there's a bit more to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so let me think about a day in the life. Say on a Monday, if I wake up when I do, and I start my meetings at, say, 8:30ish, I would typically have like 5 to 6 meetings in a day. Yeah.
How long each?
Small, iterative meetings. So maybe like a daily stand-up for the squad I'm supporting. Mm-hmm. So at my organization, I work for a large enterprise organization. Mm-hmm. So it means we support so many products, like over 1,300 services. Mm-hmm. It's a fintech, it's a telco, it's a tech company, it's all of those. Yeah. So the variety of products that you handle, from web applications to services like APIs to apps, so everything is there's a cocktail of
everything. Yeah.
So depending on where I'm at in the software development lifecycle, if maybe I'm testing a product, I test it anywhere in between. So it's like it's very hard to define what a day in the life looks like, because sometimes you have to do a deployment, which means you have to work at night, which typically shouldn't be so, right?
Yeah.
You have days where you are working at night because you are supporting changes, and stuff. So your day will typically look different. Okay. Yeah. So there's no static day, but one thing that is assured is those meetings. You will have like 6 million meetings in a week. Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to understand. Okay, why did you choose QA, not any other?
Or
What
how
is
did
your
you find
background
yourself there?
story?
So I didn't choose QA.
Uh-huh.
So this is the thing. I consider myself a software engineer, which means if today I feel like I want to do front end, I can do front end. You know, if today I see a role that is advertised for like a back end engineer, I have the skills to be a back end engineer. I don't box myself as one specific kind of engineer. I think as a software engineer, you can typically do both. You do a lot, you know. So when the role, actually, I came across I was just looking for a job, to be honest. From my previous role, I was.
Say it.
I was a technical mentor. Should I mention at Moringa School? So I loved the job, actually. I didn't hate the job. It involved a lot of learning and a lot of teaching and a lot of like... I also learned through teaching. So if I learn a concept, I would fully understand it or better understand it if I relay the information to somebody else.
Yeah.
So that part really solidified my journey as a software engineer. I think at that time I learned a lot more than any other time. My background is also not in tech. Yeah, so my background is in business administration with a focus on HR. And immediately I got into that course. I just knew I didn't want to do it. So,
but
like,
not a HR.
No, really. No.
Okay.
Speaker HR. Oh my God, no. Okay, maybe. So my background is not in tech. So tech is supposed to be like my second career.
How did you transition?
Okay, I'll get to that. I'm saying second because I feel like I can have a bit more. I'm still young, so I can do.
Yeah, you can do
like 3 more careers before I die. Yeah. So I transitioned. So after campus, I worked at the county government of Nairobi. Yeah, so I got a job at the county government of Nairobi. And at the job, I was very sure I don't want to do that because it was not challenging enough, I suppose. So I also was not very sure what I wanted to do for myself at the time. But then again, I got introduced to tech by a cousin of mine, and he really mentored me to get into tech. So I remember this one time we were having a conversation, and he was telling me, I was telling him I was not very sure what I wanted to do. And he was like, you cook really well, you could be a chef. And then I asked him, what do you do really? Because I used to see him, he doesn't go to work. He has his own office in the room, and he makes a shitload of money. So I was like, what do you do? And he explained to me what he does, and I was like, I don't want to be a chef. That's what I want to do. Like, I want to do exactly what you're doing. So he mentored me. And then he sent me a link to get into this coding school in Kisumu. So at the time I was also moving to Kisumu. So I joined the coding school in Kisumu. It was called Lake Hub. I did a cohort and I think another cohort, and then that was like in 2019. And then I started teaching like in the next cohort.
That's cool.
Yes.
Okay.
And then after that, still within that period, I met Harun Babu. I didn't even meet him because I think I joined a WhatsApp group for Lux
Academy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I did cohort 1, and then I also did another cohort on like
data or software
engineering.
They have software.
I think they did. They were teaching JavaScript, I think at the time, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, like basics of computer science and stuff like that. And then I did one cohort and another one as well. And then I started volunteering to teach
at Lux.
Yeah, at Lux. And I think that's what opened a lot of doors for me, because I gained the confidence through, joining those classes and teaching people. And then I gained the confidence to even apply for a job at Moringa. And I was headhunted actually for the role at Moringa. So when I got the job, I think now everything else fell into place. Now I knew for sure I wanted to do tech.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I transitioned. It was very obvious that I was never going to be like working in the office and just filing people's salu at the end of the month. I wanted something a bit more challenging than HR. Yeah.
That was too repetitive for you.
Yeah, and I was not even doing anything because I had been in the industry, right? So I was just like, you people just sit here and do nothing, and then at the end of the month, you get paid. Working for a government agency can really show you things.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. So away from the background, let us get to QA itself, right? So maybe you can let us know. You've talked about the company you work for handles telco, it handles
Fintech.
It's a tech company, handles fintech as well. So maybe how do your projects look like from start to finish?
Okay.
Do you handle one project from start to finish, or do you even take up roles in between a project? What does that look like?
Okay. So at the organization, like I said, we have a lot of products. So each product has its own team. So each team has everybody you need to complete the development of a project. So from the solutions architect, to developers, to quality engineers, to agile coaches, to whatever.
You have agile coaches?
Yeah, we do have agile coaches.
What do they do? Let us stray away from
They do a lot. They usually do like the project management of things. Like they handle a lot of the nuances around the work.
So they work as Scrum Masters.
They work as Scrum Masters.
Okay.
I learned something new, agile coaches.
Yeah. So everyone you need for a squad to form a squad to do a project delivery, a QA is one of them. So sometimes, because you see, it's a would I say an old company, because we have legacy products. We have products from Kitambo, so there's no at the start to the end of a project or something. But there's also new products that are being built.
Yeah.
And even the products that we have like feature development. Yeah. So you develop features rather than developing
the whole thing.
Yes.
Okay.
So it depends really, because I have worked across very different. I've worked for a squad that tests databases, like analytical databases. I've worked for a squad that builds web applications. I've worked for a squad that builds an application, like a mobile application. So the need is different for each squad. Like if I'm testing a database, I'm not testing it the same way I would ideally test a web application. So that's what it looks like. You get into a team, you figure out where you are at within the team, like what is the product portfolio? If it's an application, then what are we releasing? What are we deploying? So if it's a feature, then a feature has a lifeline. So from the start of the feature being designed to the end of the feature being deployed and post deployment. So that's
the cycle of life.
That's the cycle. So for a QA, you are ideally supposed to have full understanding of all moving parts of a product, Well, you can say that because most people just assume as a QA your job is to test, just take the,
QA tester.
No. But you build frameworks sometimes for testing, so there's a lot of development work that goes on in QA as well. Because I remember I had to do, for the same database testing, I had to do like a framework so that I can be able to test this database. So I use my knowledge in development, say using like JavaScript and Python to create a framework that helps me helps me test this or whatever.
Okay.
So for someone that is looking to be a QA, quality assurance engineer, you think they have to be a software developer, or because how will they build the framework if they don't have the knowledge?
Exactly. So it is important that you have a little bit of background. A lot of these things you also learn on the job, by the way. I think it helps that you have a little bit of background in development. It makes your work a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Most people start as manual testers, but I've also seen that people who start as just manual testers, they have a little bit of an issue transitioning to actual engineering work, which is a requirement in the in the quality engineering space, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for me, my focus, so quality engineering is also big. For a product, ideally, let's say for a web product, you can test the functionality aspect of it, and then you can test the non-functional bit of it. So like the performance engineering part. So for me, when I got into QA, I really fell in love with the performance engineering bit of it, because for functional testing, there's a business requirement, right? The business requirement says this button does this button does that, the client needs this does this. So that's very straitjacket, right?
Okay.
But the performance engineering bit of it, it's very nuanced. You are responsible for the availability of an application, say paid, right? So for paid, I need, as a quality engineer, my job is to make sure that paid is available 24/7. Yeah. When I talk about reliability, my job is to ensure that paid
doesn't fail.
Let's say in the infrastructure, there's a failover mechanism. Let's say if this server is down, we can automatically scale to the other one so that it's also reliable, like in case there is like a failure or something. So this bit is a bit more nuanced, and I like the gray area of trying to figure things out, and the scalability, the usability, all of these things that make an application or a software product really good, other than just the functional bit.
Love the creativity.
Yes, the creativity bit of it.
Because it challenges you.
Because it's challenging.
Okay. As we said,
yeah.
Confident, bold,
beautiful.
But that is interesting. I just want to understand, the automation is a big part in quality assurance.
Yeah.
So how does that happen? And also before that, what does manual testing entail? I just have to have I see most organizations give quality assurance engineers iPhones. And why is that the case? Google Pixel, Samsung. Yeah. Why not Redmi?
Well, I wouldn't know about the device bit. But
and how does the manual testing happen?
Okay, manual testing is ideally, you want to interact with the software product the way a customer would.
Yeah.
But automation is like you want to automate the process of testing without, you're not testing on the customer front. You're testing, like I said, if you are a quality engineer, then you need to have intuitive understanding of the application. Like intuitive understanding, not just how to how an API works, fine. But you see, if you can be able to, if you look at the OSI model, let me get a bit technical. Like the application layer, the data layer, the network layer, whatever layer. If you are able to strip an application into these moving parts and test these parts in isolation, so you need to also automate these processes because they can be a bit cumbersome, and there's a lot to do in those two. But you see now, if you need to do manual testing, you open paid your application, and then you want to test the functionality. You want to see, is it working okay? And then you collect data. You collect the defects if there are any. You track the defects. That's the manual testing bit. There's a life cycle to the manual testing bit. So you test it manually, just the way a customer would interact with it. You collect the defects, you track them, you relay information to the developers to do the fixing. But that also really depends with the kind of organization that you're working with. I think working for a bigger organization allows you to do a little bit more, because there's a lot more products that you're interacting with. So you're testing across different variety of things, so you're not just testing the interfaces or whatever. It's a lot more.
There's a lot more.
Yeah, that also needs to be automated. So automation is very important because it takes away the mundane tasks of testing. Like, for example, one application can have as many as endpoints as like 60 APIs,
Yeah.
So if I want to test if each of these endpoint is responding with error code 200, response code 200, should I be testing one on one?
That's going to be a lot of work.
And it's going to take a lot of time.
Yeah.
So that requires automation. you know. But a manual tester has no, it's very black box. There's like a black box testing and white box testing, you know. White box testing is just, you have no use with the code, you know. You just
do whatever
interfaces and whatever. But
yeah.
Okay. Just curious, what do you use for? You just document, kama kwa a document, ama where does the scripting come in? And also for the automation, what tools do you use to automate?
So there are a lot of tools. One, there are tools that are pre-built, and then there are tools that you build, especially as an organization. There are tools that you build. Your team builds these teams to enhance your productivity. You know? And for our organization, there's a team that is specifically supposed to be acts as a nerve for the rest of the quality engineers. So they build stuff that the rest of the engineers work with, you know, like there's a whole system to it. Sorry, I missed the question. So which tools?
Yeah.
So I can give examples of tools that I work with because you also have the autonomy of choice. So you can use so many tools. And by the way, let me take a quick digest. You know how people introduce themselves and they say, me, I'm a Python engineer? I really hate that. Because it's like saying, me, I'm a djembe farmer.
I can't
do anything
else. You know, like me ni mse wa Laravel. You know, me ni wa Ruby.
Me ni wa
Django. It doesn't make sense to me. It's like, you know, if you meet a farmer, they won't say at, you know, me ni wa
beans.
You know, it does not make sense to me at all.
But see, maybe they've specialized in that and they're like, me, I'm okay with this.
So tools are tools. You know, if you have the fundamental understanding of something, the tool helps you execute the job. You know. So when I'm testing, let's say I like a tool called K6, and I've used the tool for a long time now, say a year. K6 it's a JavaScript tool. It's purely scripting language. So if I get into it's JavaScript, use my VS Code or my IDE, whatever IDE I'm using, I just write JavaScript language. You know, it's compiled. So it helps me with the testing bit. So there's like a load runner. It helps me, let's say, if I'm doing a performance test, I'll do like a simple performance test is like a load test. See, for a load test, you want to see for paid.
Yeah.
How many users?
How many users? Shining.
How many users can interact with paid over a 10-minute duration? You know? So my job is to determine the capacity that paid can handle. So let's say if paid had a November sales, Black Friday sale or something, it was an e-commerce.
You've
that
given
day,
her
of
an
course,
idea.
Yeah, you expect
we have shops, guys.
a little bit more traffic on your application than normal.
Yeah.
So you don't want to go into a sale like that without having to test it. So you need to first do like a test and say, I'm going to test on the UAT environment. So you have like a production environment, which is going to be customer facing. And then you have like a pre-prod environment or like a UAT environment where you want to test how this behaves before you move to production.
What is a UAT environment?
Like
Pre-test environment.
Like a test bed.
When did you become a QA tester?
You know, like a test bed.
We have that.
So you have it mimics what production environment looks like, but it's not deployed.
Yeah.
You know, but I it's built on the same. This is just for testing purposes. Yeah, so I'm able to test on this and say we are ready to go on live, and your system can handle, let's say, 500,000 users within a 30-minute period. You know, so if it can't, my job is to also tell you, okay, it can't. So what do you do? Do you do horizontal scaling, vertical scaling? Do you do you spin up more pods, or you do whatever? What do you do? So it's also my job to recommend fixes. You know. But I can't recommend a fix if I don't have a knowledge or an understanding
of the product
infrastructure, how it was built, how it was designed. You know?
True.
Yeah. So
okay, you've talked about K6. So maybe I understand there might be other tools and technologies in the market, right?
Yeah.
So how do you keep up? How do you learn about all this?
So
Do you take courses?
yes, you do.
Wanangi LinkedIn, Adera Karure. I
Amesha
learned to do
Inuko.
what in Udemy.
Well,
Uh-huh.
as an engineer, you need to establish a culture of continuous
Upscaling.
learning.
Yeah.
You know, I think I learned that over time because everything moves so quickly. So
fast.
K6 is just one of them, but K6 can only test so much, you know. There's other tools like JMeter. There's other frameworks like Robot Framework. So Robot Framework helps you test like the web application. It helps you automate the processes of testing. So you have a portfolio of tools and you use a specific tool for a specific use case. You know, like a shamba. You know, you have a hoe, a shovel, a machete, hizo vitu zote. And then if you need to slash, it's a slasher that you use. So you have a portfolio of tools, and when
to use them.
so for a specific use case, you tailor your tool to the needs of to your testing
specific need.
Yeah.
Okay. The big question now. AI. What role does AI play in QA?
So first of all, AI.
First of all,
AI is a very hot topic right now.
yeah, true.
And I have interacted with many people who think AI is literally ChatGPT.
Only.
Yeah.
I know.
Yesterday,
You met
someone
that.
was explaining what is AI, and they are giving an example of ChatGPT. So someone was explaining, then someone was asking, so something like ChatGPT. I was like, guy.
Yeah. You know, most
you
They don't
okay,
know
I'm
what
not
AI
judgmental,
is.
guys. Like, I feel hapo
As
ni
you
kama you
can
are
see,
not.
she is.
Well, so artificial intelligence is bigger than whatever we think we know it is.
Yeah,
You know, it's not a new technology. It's like a new way of life. You know.
true.
So, first of all, think about how artificial intelligence was built. You know, from the concept of the neural networks that are in the brain.
Yeah,
You know, so what we are trying to build
is mimic
human
human behavior.
biological intelligence, but at a super scale.
True.
You know, so AI has put its foot in all aspects of the world, you know, like in food technology, in biotechnology, medicine. And all
Yeah.
this.
Mention
So
it.
If the question is how is AI affecting the quality engineering space? First of all, how is AI affecting how software is being built right now? You know, because how software is being built directly affects how software is being tested. You know, so if AI is going to change how software is going to be built, then AI is definitely affecting how, you know,
It's being tested.
yeah. So artificial intelligence is also not supposed to be replacing human beings. You know, someone said AI is only going to replace the people who do not use AI. You know, but AI is going to scale the capabilities of the people who are using artificial intelligence. So in my space, how I personally am thinking of using AI in my space, I was actually working on an article the other day about how you can use you can do predictive software maintenance using generative AI. You know, so generative AI is the technology we use on large language models like ChatGPT. You know, you give it, you train the model with this data, and you know the output. You know, but so you know, in software quality, there's an aspect of software of quality engineering called software maintenance. You know how you would build a building and maintain the building, so that the building stays at a crisp condition throughout for a very long period of time. It's the same thing with maintaining a software, you know. So how can you use generative AI to do like predictive analysis of defects? You know, you train an AI model on let's say use a customer behavior. You know, so customer behavior or customer interaction with the application. You can collect that data. You know, machine learning, train the data,
Yeah.
train the model using that data, and then from that, you're able to do like a preventive, like a proactive approach to testing. Instead of testing to find bugs, you are creating simulations where a bug happened. How does the system behave? You know, it's a simulation, and then is there an auto healing mechanism for the system?
That's actually smart.
Yeah, you know, is there like how does the system auto heal? You know, so can we also create systems that, you know, auto heal when like maybe there's a downtime, you know, stuff like that. So AI, also the foundational bit of AI is based on like data. You know, a lot of, so big data is what built AI in the first place. There would not be AI
if there was no big data.
So also, you know, companies and a lot of people also just want to, you know, do the PR bit of AI. But at your small space, how are you using data to influence decision making, like data-driven development? So I think AI is going to impact. First of all, AI is going to scale up the capabilities of quality engineers, in the sense that people who use artificial intelligence to scale up their work are going to, of course, more productivity. You know, now I don't want to spend most of my time just writing test cases. AI can write test cases for me.
Yeah.
You know, prompt to script. You know, like if I want to script a test case, I can just do a prompt and it scripts.
And you get it.
You know, so I use AI as a tool to make my work easier.
Yeah.
And for me, I want to, you know, use AI in the smallest bit, even if it's just these tools that are coming, like Copilot, Casa, you know, how I can use these tools to just make my work a bit more easier and increase my productivity.
And focus on the heavier tasks.
Focus on the work that requires me to think, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
As we come to the end
For close
of the podcast, of this episode, I'll just like to understand first, do we have collaboration in QA engineering? Second, or lastly, what would you tell someone that is trying to join the QA field? What skills do they need?
Okay.
And what skills do they need?
Let me start with the first question, collaboration. You know, you can't operate as a silo as a quality engineering.
True.
As quality engineer, yeah? Because first of all, you want to understand architecture. You're not an architect. You want to understand the development process. You're not actively developing.
Yeah.
You know, you want to have full visibility of the deployment models, but someone else is doing the job. Your job is to make sure that it's being done in a quality way. You know, that quality is assured in that process. So there is absolutely no way you can do that without collaboration. So I work in a very cross-functional team, which means the team that I work on, the person sitting next to me is an architect, the person sitting next to me is a product owner, the other person is... So it's a very cross-functional team. And for us to deliver, because the mission is product delivery, right? At the end of the day, we want to deliver a product that's A, B, C, D, and it has all these nice and beautiful features and whatever. But we can't do that if we do not collaborate. And in an agile space, collaboration is by force, whether you like it or not. You know, like the feedback loop is every morning, a 15-minute stand-up. And, you know, so in an agile space, you are going to collaborate whether you like it or not. And
how does communication look like?
Communication
and challenges.
Meetings.
So think about yourself as a developer, and then you've developed something, and then may I come and I tell you, you know, this thing has so many bugs. Why did you do this? You know, fix this. You know, so if I don't relay that message
in an appropriate manner,
it might seem like it's criticism, and I'm doing it every morning because that's my job. So, you know, it's like I'm paid.
You have to be emotionally
I'm just paid.
intelligent.
I'm being paid to just come and castigate you every single day.
Yeah,
you know. So communication it's a soft skill that you require as a quality engineer, because people might start thinking you're so obnoxious because if you you know
I understand.
There's an unspoken between the engineers and between the developers and the
QA testers.
the QA testers, because me, I'm here to find bugs, and you are here you are bringing the bugs. So here we are. So you asked about
the
skills.
One of them was communication and being empathetic.
And being very empathetic. That's a soft skill. Of course, you need the soft skills.
Yeah.
You need to also be very patient, because sometimes you want that bug fixed. Because, okay, so for specifically for the organization that I work in, I do a report before deployment. So if I do a negative report, there's no deployment. You know, like it's like I give a go sign, you know.
Yeah.
So you also need to you just have to have some level of emotional intelligence to deal with other people. But that's just soft skills. Now, hard skills. Well, if you want to be a good quality engineer, you need to have, like I said, an intuitive understanding of all moving parts of the system. That's very important, you know. So I think you should make it a point to learn all the moving parts of the system and understand them. Even if you can't be a good UI UX designer, you have enough understanding of all the bugs that can come from terrible designing, you know. Even if you're not a strong backend engineer, and your strength is not in building, you know, these APIs that do stuff that go to the moon and stuff. But you understand it, right? Yeah. So you need to understand. So just do stuff, like build stuff. Me, I would advise people to start from building. If you want to be a good quality assurance engineer, maybe you can't. Everybody else's pathway is not from the developer's point of view, but it will definitely help if you start from a developer standpoint. You know, understand basics of computer science.
Very important.
That is very important. You know, understand the basics of computer science. Understand. Just be up to date with new technology, and you know, establish a culture of continuous learning that helps you just learn. One day you wake up and you are being told to go test some servers. Now I'll say, me, I don't know how to, you know, I don't know.
You have to do it.
Yeah, you have to figure out.
Yeah.
And how do you figure out? By learning, you know. So most of these things you also really learn them on the job. So the attitude first, you know, I think any employer employs the attitude bit first.
Yeah.
So if you are a learner, which I consider myself, yeah.
Okay. So one last question. Where do you see QA in the coming years? What major changes do you maybe foresee? Are there any major changes you foresee in the future of QA?
Especially, first of all, the job description is really going to change, because if all my processes are being automated, and I am the one who's automating my processes, I'll have a lot of free time. So I have the time to focus on the quality aspect of building, you know. So my job description will change, first of all.
Yeah. But
also that will reduce the demand for quality engineers, I imagine, you know, especially the ones who cannot utilize artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So I see artificial intelligence as a very disruptive move, you know, like it's coming to change how we think about things and how we do stuff. And the same way artificial intelligence is going to affect. Have you thought about how artificial intelligence is going to affect, let's say, medicine? It's disruptive, right? Yeah. You know, like the other day I saw an article talking about how artificial intelligence was able to detect breast cancer 13 years before it occurred.
Yeah.
You know? So that's disruptive. So if it can do that to the health industry, imagine what it can do to just QA. You know, a lot. So it's going to be a very disruptive space. But if you establish a culture of continuous learning, then you utilize,
you'll be in a safe space.
You'll be in the safe zone.
In the safe zone.
Yeah. Also, quality engineers can be anything. Like, I can now safely just be a solutions architect.
Yeah.
True. Because my knowledge encompasses. I just need to learn the nuances of solutions architect. You know, I can also now just be, I don't know, like AI ML engineer. I just need to learn the nuances of AI ML engineering.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Straight from Adera Kate Karume herself, from the QA engineer.
Do you mentor people? Where should they find you?
Yeah, social media platforms. Are you a social media person?
I'm really not a social media person. First of all, I don't even have a TikTok. I'm gonna.
For real?
So I am on Instagram, but it's a private Instagram. Like it's for my private. It's for my private stuff. When I go on holiday,
guys,
I post.
I am private. Okay.
But like in the aspect of my career, I don't have like just my LinkedIn. Like
You're
you can
not
find
on
me
Twitter?
on LinkedIn.
Oh, you're on Twitter.
But on Twitter, I'm there to troll guys.
You're there to tell God, to tell people God is not God.
It's not real.
I'm there to troll. On Twitter, I'm a troll. But if you want to find me like for like the Nini, find me
Serious
on LinkedIn.
stuff.
Yeah, that's I can't give people my IG.
Oh, so Adera Kate.
Yeah, but you go on IG
Adera
and search that, you'll
Karume
find
on
it.
LinkedIn.
Yes, I'm Adera Karume on all platforms.
Okay, so
Except Twitter.
thank you very much, Kate. It has been lovely hosting you.
Yeah.
I've gotten to learn one or two things that I didn't know before. Yes, and with that, Dana, do you have anything to say before we close?
Thank you for coming. Thank you for sparing time in this cold weather. I hope uko na mtu.
Wow.
Well, the way we postponed this, we postponed today. It was raining, and I was just like, if I don't go today, I'll never go because we keep postponing it.
Nasikia tu akisi tu cancel.
Hata I hope mimi niko na mtu.
Sawa tu.
I hope.
And with that, guys, goodbye till next time. Cheers.